Back to hoops now and big time with March Madness, men and women. Let's check in Durham, North Carolina. Welcome in the voice of Baylor women's basketball and Baylor baseball. Derek Smith joins us. Derek, how are things up in the Triad? Do they call that the Triad area?
Yeah, you've got, I know there's the Triad, there's the Triangle. There's a lot of cities here within just a few miles of each other. Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and then Greensboro, Winston-Salem. But it's been good. You know, it's beautiful up here. And obviously at Duke, we get to be here at a historic arena with some big things on the line. So it's great in Durham so far.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thanks for your time this morning. Tell us, y'all left Wednesday morning. The Baylor women found a practice spot yesterday. And then do they get on the floor in Cameron Indoor today? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Today they are able to get on the floor. You know, today's the big day where, you know, you've got all the press conferences. They're all there at Duke and Cameron Indoor area. We're going to hear from all the teams at different times. And then, Baylor gets about 90 minutes on the Cameron Indoor floor today to really get the feel of things.
Very cool. And have you been there before? Have you been to Duke before?
No, this is my first time. My first time here in the area. I think we drove through when I was a kid, but really first time to check it out. Yeah. So I'm excited.
A lot of history there for sure, basketball wise. And tell everybody the perch where you'll be broadcasting from tomorrow.
Yes. Well, it's funny because Lori Fogelman, of course, my broadcast partner, and she and you did the first games here, that the Baylor's first NCAA tournament games back in 2001, and it is a crow's nest, as you know, up at the top of Cameron Indoor. And I'll tell you what, John, maybe it's not what I'd want every game, but I kind of love the old time radio stuff, you know, and it's that old time radio feel that you can't replicate, because we're going to be up in a little perch at the top of the arena looking down. And I'm excited. I mean, and it's Cameron Indoor Stadium, so there's just an aura about that that's going to be fun.
Very cool. And as I think it through, being an NCAA tournament game, y'all may be courtside, right? Like a normal NCAA setup, or will you be up top?
It's funny. They sent us a big email, all of us who were coming with radio, and they said our setup here is a little different.
Oh, okay.
To say the least. No, so we are up in the perch.
Okay, very cool. Well, that's a great experience. Good.
Cameron Indoor probably gets grandfathered in on something somewhere, I would guess, because you're right. Normally, you're supposed to be on the floor.
Right. I mean, it's a cookie cutter setup usually for the NCAA tournament, men's and women's, but that's cool. I mean, you'll enjoy it being up there. Nebraska is the opponent. We know that Nebraska beat Richmond last night. Any thoughts? Did the team prefer one, Nebraska or Richmond, or what are the thoughts about playing the Huskers?
You know, I don't know that there was a preference one way or the other, but, you know, I think anytime, obviously, you're just excited to be here and playing, and excited to know who you're playing. This is the second time in the last 3 years that the Bears have had a play-in game in front of them. When we played in Blacksburg 2 years ago, Vanderbilt and Columbia had to play on the Wednesday night. So, you know, that presents a challenge. There's a little extra scouting, but I think now it's just for everyone nice to know who it's actually going to be. And Nebraska is an interesting, really both opponents were interesting. You had Richmond, who was the, you know, kind of your typical really good mid-major team. And Nebraska is the team that has had some success this year, but really sputtered to the finish line in the Big Ten. They started the year undefeated in non-conference play, got a top 25 ranking, and then in Big Ten play finished 7-10. They kind of hit, I don't know if you'll say reality, because it's a good league. It's hard to win at this level, but after an 11-0 start, they really struggled up and down in Big Ten. But obviously the schedule they play, they have a good RPI. They made the tournament, and obviously they won last night. So they're a team that actually teams shoot pretty well against, but they've got some good scorers. They're a versatile team, and I think it'll be a good matchup for them, good test for the Bears.
And Derek, you're around the team all year. What's the thought? What's the mindset, I guess, right now? First round loss in the Big 12 tournament, then you got to sit for almost 2 weeks. Are they, you know, is that a good kind of clean the slate, clean the palate, and now ready to go again?
I think it's a good thing. I mean, obviously you never want to lose in the first round of the Big 12 tournament, and you want to finish the year better than the Bears did. I think the fact that you have 2 weeks to work on things, though, can be a good thing, because I think honestly the last couple of weeks of the season, the Bears just didn't look like the Bears. You know, I think the loss in Kansas City against Colorado, and I think you just got to kind of refine that crispness that you had for a good portion of the year. So to have a couple weeks of practice to work on things, it can be a good thing. I think the reality is I think we're going to see on the floor tomorrow just how good it was. But I think that the chance to work on some things without the pressure of a game situation night in and out can be a really good thing for the team.
Gotcha. And, they're completely focused on Nebraska. I know that. But second round matchup could be Duke on their home floor. And how about that? Duke, a team you opened the season with in Paris a long time ago.
It is. Well, like you said, obviously we have to win tomorrow to get there. But let's imagine for a moment that has happened. It's a matchup. Duke is playing really good basketball. They started the year 3-6. And then won 21 of their last 23 games.
Wow.
So they, now that said, though, they've been a good team all year. They had a tough schedule early on and maybe didn't play all their best basketball, but they're playing good basketball now. I like the matchup, though, in the sense that you go in, the Bears are familiar with them. They spent a lot of the summer getting ready for Duke, and they obviously, that work paid off. Like you said, we won that game in Paris. There's some familiarity. I mean, now you could look Duke, maybe they've got some revenge in mind, but I like the fact that Baylor has seen them before and has prepped for them before and I think there's some confidence when you execute a team like that, the way the Bears did it in Paris. So I know that was a long time ago, but if the Bears are able to get the win tomorrow and assuming that Duke beats Charleston, which you would expect them to, I like that for this team that it's someone that they've seen before.
Yeah, very cool. Well, that'll be fun. Well, it's Nebraska first, completely focused on Nebraska. But as we talk about Baylor Duke, I'm reminded about your travel weekend.
Yeah.
For that game.
A little bit.
Yeah, tell everybody about that whirlwind of a trip for you and Lori to Paris and back.
Lori and I were in Paris for all of 24 hours. We stayed back because obviously I had football on Saturday before the game. And then Lori and I both, for our jobs in Baylor marketing, had things that we were really kind of needed at. So it was tough giving up a few days in Paris. But the memory of going out there, I mean, we flew out Sunday evening. And when we landed, it was Monday morning. It was game day already. So I think we landed about 10 a.m. We didn't get any sleep hardly. And then we won the game. And then we went out, had a big meal, and saw the Eiffel Tower, and turned around and came back. So yeah, it's a great memory, though. I don't know how often you say, "Oh, I spent 24 hours in Paris for work sometime." Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's wild. Well, I'm glad you were there. I'm glad it worked out that you could be there. And the win just made it that much better, didn't it?
It did. That was a great way to start the year. And I think, for the Bears right now, kind of recapturing that, they prepped really hard and really well for that game. They executed at a high level. Everyone contributed in that game. And I think, when you get to March, that's what you've got to do. So I think hopefully you keep some of that muscle memory from that experience of going out to Paris. To go all the way out to Paris and play then a number 7 team in the nation, now Duke, top 10 again, I think you look, that's not a tournament game, but it kind of has that big time feel. So I hope there's some muscle memory from the little things and the big things that they did well to get that win out there, because that's a formula for March, albeit in a more compressed time frame.
Right. Very cool. Well, thanks for your time this morning. We'll be tuned in tomorrow. Have a great broadcast, and hopefully Baylor is preparing for Duke after the win over Nebraska tomorrow. Thanks very much.
Thank you, John. I hope so. We'll try and call a winner.
Very good.